Hi everybody, it's Jack Ferguson here and welcome to this episode of the Entrepreneur Games. Now today we're going to be having a look at business ideas and what makes a good business idea, what makes a bad business idea. You've probably had some business ideas over the years. Some you may have acted on, others you either didn't act on or you didn't think you could because of, say, capital restrictions, for example. So I want to take you through just a few simple processes today to ensure that you can find out in the shortest space of time and the lowest investment of money whether your business idea is viable or not. Because it's so important to work out early on, is this something that people are interested in? And if it's not, let's move on to the next idea. So let's get going, and I want to take you through a few of my strategies to ensure in the shortest amount of time whether this is worth pursuing or not. So let's get to it. Before we go any further, I just want to reiterate from the last video that remember that the business is something that's done between people. So you've got a business idea, that's great, but the main thing is now to see who is going to pay for this service. Now, people might be interested in your idea, but it's a whole different story between people being interested in your idea and people being willing to pay for it. So we're just going to go and start off with just seeing if people are interested in your idea. That's where we're going to start. The second step is seeing whether they'll pay for it. So I'm going to take you to something called the keyword tool. So if you just type that in. Now this is Google software that they've created so that you can see how many searches a certain term gets per month. So if we look at this section here, word or phrase, you can type something in here and see how many people are searching for that in Google per month. Now that could be, let's just say Facebook. So if I type in Facebook, click search, and make sure you clicked on keyword ideas down there. 3,760,000,000 people per month click on or search for Facebook. So very popular, as you can see. Now, obviously, you're probably not going to use this specific keyword, but there might be something related to it that you can use. Now, a lot of people think that they're not good at anything, but remember that everything that you have learned to do, you had to learn to do at one stage. So don't write off yourself as someone who, I don't know anything, I'm not good at anything. Just think of what you've done today. Like, what have you done today? You've probably driven a car, you've probably dressed well, there's so many things you could have done. Have you used Facebook today? I mean, I've used Facebook today, so maybe there's people out there that don't know how to use Facebook and I could help them with that. So is that a business idea worth looking at? I think so. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and see if people are typing in how to use social media. So here we've got the keyword how to use social media, and you see 74,000 global monthly searches. So this has got a little bit of interest. It's not something that everyone knows how to do. It's something that people are still perhaps learning, and you might be able to help someone with how to use Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. So the idea is you also want a market for your business. So if you say, I'd love to be able to teach people how to use Facebook, I really enjoy that, it's better off to target, at least at first, a specific market. So a market, don't be scared by the jargon. A market just means a group of people that you're targeting. So a market could be dentists, for example. So let's just type in Facebook for dentists. Search. Here we go. So 1,300 searches per month and only 22 local searches. So only 22 in Australia are happening per month. So not a whole lot. This might not be, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad idea. It just means that this is not getting typed into Google at this stage. So let's try another group of people. I always go to dentists and doctors first because they've obviously people with money. People with money are better to target than those who aren't, obviously. So here we go. Facebook for doctors has 5,400 global monthly searches. So that's really interesting. Maybe doctors do need to know how to use Facebook. So From here, let's just take this idea. Like, this is a really interesting idea. Facebook for doctors. We've come to it because we've thought of, okay, I know how to use Facebook. Maybe a group of people doesn't. We've got the doctors here who might need to know. So if I go into Google now, and I'm just going to type in Dr. Facebook, and we see, I went into this one before obviously, but we've got Dr. Joseph Mercola. So what would doctors use Facebook for? Now look at this. This doctor's got 483,000 likes. Now there might be other doctors out there looking to replicate this. So what could you do? You could, if we just go down, you can actually see what this guy's using Facebook for. So to basically communicate with the public about health issues, whatnot. And there might be other doctors who want to do this but don't know how. So what would you do next? Like, what's your next step? Okay, I've got this idea. I could teach doctors how to use Facebook. Now that doesn't mean that it's going to work. It just means that it possibly could work. There's some interest there. It has been done before. You know how to use Facebook. You could be useful here. So what would you do? Now in Australia we have a site called Gumtree. Gumtree.com.au, and this site allows you to post an ad for free. Now remember how I was talking about before, we want to know whether people are going to pay for something. Now it's not just about the idea, it's about the idea and a market of people, which is just a group of people willing to pay for a service. So I could go into business services here, I could go into courses and training, and I can click on I'm offering a service. Now, here we've got, I can type in Facebook for doctors. Now, I know that this is an Australian site, but you could also use something like a Craigslist if you were in America, and I'm sure they've got equivalents in other countries as well. So here you do your little spiel, and you could reference this Dr. Joseph Mercola in your ad and say, look, I'm interested in helping doctors to get their message out to the community. I'm offering a service where I train doctors to use Facebook, and just see if you get any responses. Now, is this the only way you should go about validating this business or checking if it's viable? No, I don't think so, because the doctors might not check Gumtree or Craigslist. So what else could you do? Now, you could go into just Google again. Very simple. Now we could go, I live in Brisbane, so I could just say doctors in Brisbane, or whichever city you're in. So here we've got all these doctors. Obviously it shows me here on the map where they're located, but also it will have, on all these sites, it's going to have actual contact details. Now you could just go through, email all these doctors and just see if there is something they're interested in. Once again, reference is Dr. Joseph Mercola. That doesn't mean it's going to work still, but you'll find out very quickly whether it will or not. What else could you do? You could go into a doctor's surgery, you could make a flyer, and hand it into reception and say, look, this is the service I'm offering currently. I'm helping doctors to use Facebook to communicate with their patients. Here's my phone number, here's a flyer, please pass that on. Now, if you don't get people beating down your door to get your service, it's probably not a good idea. But look how quickly we've worked out whether that's a viable idea or not. So basically, you want real-world feedback as soon as possible. So this is going back to what business is about. Business is done between people. So you have to actually ask people whether they're interested in your service. This is a really easy way to and like these days it's so easy to get in touch with so many people that all they're going to do if they're not interested is either ignore you or say no. That's the worst thing that can happen. So get out there. This is just one example of a business idea I come up with just as we were going through here. There's 1,000 more you could do. It'd be very easy to determine whether this is viable or not in a short space of time. And make sure you do subscribe, because I will be doing a live example in the next few videos of actually building a business from scratch and ensuring that it's a good idea without investing too much time or money into it.